Hey everybody, welcome to another Mystified Monday. This time I'm taking a look at the entire series of The Sims. These are the life simulation games from Maxis and EA. And of them, I have played the first, second, and third games in the series. What you're seeing in the video is the third game. And despite having played all three of those games, I still am utterly baffled as to why people enjoy this series. Keep in mind, I'm not saying this is a bad game. I'm saying I do not remotely understand why people would prefer playing this over, say, any other game on the market. And there are two main reasons for this. It's not that they're bad games, because they're not bad games. They're very well made for what they are, they have quite a lot of features, they have a pretty decent AI system. In fact, if you take the games purely as software, there's really not that much I can complain about. They're pretty well made. I mean, they have their issues like the bizarre RAM usage that they have, the ridiculously long load times, that sort of thing. But for what they set out to do, they achieve it pretty well. The problem is that I don't see how that is appealing to people. Generally speaking, video games are a form of escapist entertainment. You are trying to escape from your own existence and take on the existence of some other character in some other world. Typically, this means empowering you to do things that you couldn't possibly do in real life. You know, things like winning wars entirely by yourself, or slaying dragons, or that sort of thing. Something so far removed from your normal existence that you couldn't possibly comprehend it. The Sims doesn't really do that. Instead, it pretty much simulates a slightly sillier version of day-to-day life. And quite honestly, not only do I find that incredibly boring, I find it pretty much anathema to the idea of video games as escapist media to begin with. I do not play video games to do work. I do not play video games to have a facsimile of my normal life, even if it is sillier and more ridiculous like in The Sims. The very concept of just playing through a facsimile of day-to-day life really does not appeal to me at all. In fact, the only reason I own The Sims 3 is because I got it in a Humble Bundle, and the only reason I have The Sims 2 is because EA gave it away for free for a while. And in fact, I only got The Sims 1 so I could put a video up on the channel, the problem being that I haven't been able to record it because I can't get the damn thing to run for some reason. These are just not the kind of games that I am going to go out of my way to play. I would much rather play a game where I'm some badass space marine or fantasy knight or whatever it may well be. Something far removed from my day-to-day life where I can get away from day-to-day life for a few minutes to several hours. I would much rather be doing something like that than just playing a game where I'm watching my sim go through his normal day-to-day life, eating, sleeping, going to work, coming home from work, watching TV, reading books, playing computer games, whatever it may well be. And because I have that perspective, I just cannot remotely understand why people like these games. And whenever I've asked people why they enjoy the Sims games, they always tell me something like, well, it's just something to pass the time, or, well, I like just messing around with it and seeing what crazy crap I can cause to happen. And that's ultimately the first question I have to ask you people. Why do you enjoy the Sims games if you do enjoy them? Because I quite simply just cannot understand the mentality that goes into enjoying the core gameplay of the Sims. But the second question I have for you is considerably more practical. Why do you support this business model? Because from the very beginning, The Sims has been treated as effectively a DLC platform before DLC was even a thing. My copy of the original Sims game actually has an advertisement in the CD case for 2 expansions to that game. And every single Sims game has a pretty ridiculous number of expansion packs and stuff packs now. So on top of buying the base game for full price, you're also buying these expansions at pretty much full expansion price, and there's a ton of them. I mean, the first game had 7 expansion packs, the second game had 8 expansion packs plus all of the stuff packs, and The Sims 3 had 11 expansion packs on top of the rather large number of stuff packs that it had. Then you get to The Sims 4 and they have 3 expansion packs, 4 game packs, and then a bunch of stuff packs. It's just a mess, and I do not understand why people support this business model. It is blatant cash grabbing. The base game really doesn't have all that much content in it, and those expansion packs end up becoming effectively mandatory to really keep you playing it. And I don't know if they improved this with The Sims 4, but in the previous 3 games you had to install the expansion packs in a specific order. Particularly with the original Sims game, if you installed the expansion packs out of order or didn't install an expansion pack between, say, the first and the third one, well then your game would break. So I really can't speak for The Sims 4, but in the previous games that was somewhat of a problem. It was less of an issue with The Sims 3, because Origin helped to work some of that out. But I can't help but find it amusing that when, say, Evolve came out and they basically marketed it as a DLC platform, there was a huge outcry against that. But when The Sims does it, and has been doing it for years and years, nobody seems to bat an eye. And thus I have to ask, why is it not okay if Evolve does it, and it's okay if The Sims does it? Isn't that something of a double standard? I mean, you've got The Sims games outright removing content that was in previous games to put it in an expansion pack for that game later. With other games, that would be seen as a terrible thing, but in The Sims, it just seems to be business as usual, and I'm really not okay with that. What I am okay with is you enjoying The Sims. Again, I have no idea why, and I would greatly appreciate it if you explain that to me. But whereas your enjoyment of The Sims is purely a matter of your own personal taste, because like I said, I can't really find very many faults with the gameplay mechanics themselves. I personally find it incredibly boring, but they are well-made games. Well, aside from the engine coding anyway, but I digress. Whether or not you like The Sims is up to you, but can we at least agree on the business model being pretty shady? Because that's something that has utterly baffled me throughout the entire time that this series has been around. I have looked at the business model, I have looked at people just buying this game in droves and sit there going, why? And that's ultimately my question to you. Why? Why do you enjoy these games if you do enjoy them? And more importantly, why do you support this business model by buying into their games and buying the expansion packs and such? I look forward to hearing what you all have to say about that. Thanks for watching.